Hi, I'm Dave Hilowitz. So for the past month or two, I've been totally obsessed with granular synthesis. And the reason for that is this plugin, Granulator 2 by Robert Henke. Granulator 2 isn't an actual plugin, like in this way that like a VST plugin is. It's a Max4Live patch. If you don't know what Max4Live is, it's basically a visual programming language that comes with the highest tier of Ableton Live Suite. Disclaimer right now, if you don't own Ableton Live Suite, you're not going to be able to play with this actual instrument. That being said, there are a bunch of VST plugins that do basically the same thing. So yeah, hope you'll stick around and behold the magic that is granular synthesis. Okay, let's get started.
So what is granular synthesis? Well, in regular sampling, we just take a chunk of audio and it plays back when you press down on the key. If it's looped, when we reach the end of the sample, it just goes back to the start of the loop area and plays again. Well, granular synthesis is very much like that. The only difference is that the loop area is very, very short, like 10 to 100 milliseconds. And instead of there just being one loop region, often there are many. Here's another way of thinking about it. Let's say I were to take this audio file and chop it up. Then I took all of my different slices and I moved them onto other tracks so that the sounds were kind of overlapping. Now imagine that I started mixing them up so that the slices from the end of the file were mixed with the slices at the beginning. That's the kind of stuff we can do with granular synthesis plugins. So how does Granulator 2 work? Well, first you have to feed it a WAV file. I'm using a sample from Catherine Hillier's clarinet library, link below. Once you've got a sample loaded, you can play with the parameters. This thing is a lot of fun. There are a ton of parameters. I'm only going to go over like the 3 or 4 most important ones. First, there's file pos, which is arguably the most important parameter. It specifies the part of the WAV file we're getting our grains from. This can be modulated based on the key that's being played, so that when you play different notes, it grabs from different parts of the file. Then there's the spray function, which adds randomness into the equation. If you turn that up, it doesn't just pull from the file position you specified, it pulls from areas that are randomly distributed around it. Over on the left is another super important setting, the grain size. If you turn it all the way down, the grains are huge. It's almost like you're just using a regular sampler at this point. If you turn it all the way up, on the other hand, the individual grains are tiny and you begin to get crazy distortion. Okay, so we've gone over the main settings. Time to make some music. But first...
Hi, this is Dave from the future. So before we go any further, the track that I worked on in this video, which I'm now calling Clarkish Town, I ended up really, really liking it. So much so that I'm now thinking of releasing it on Spotify. Since this is a sponsored video and since DistroKid is our sponsor for the month of August, I figured now would be like a perfect time to talk about releasing music. Specifically, I wanted to talk about Hyperfollow pages, which are this way of having people bookmark your track before it's even been released. Check it out. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is upload the track. You've seen me do this before. Basically, a lot of the stuff is pre-filled. My artist band name, David Hilowitz, pretty straightforward. Because I have a Musicians Plus account type, I can actually specify a release date. I'm going to be trying to release this on August 21st. Go down here, choose our cover art. Here it is. And for once, I actually know the genre of my track. This is always such an issue. This is really an electronica track. And it's called Clarkish Town. And audio file. Very simple release. And I'm going to hit done. And there, it's uploading. Not much to do beyond that. Okay, I get this message telling me my release date is cutting it close. And down here it says, we made a pre-save page to help you get more listeners. So we're going to click here. And this is the Hyperfollow page. And basically all this is it's a little landing page that allows people to go down here and click pre-save and follow. And when they click that, the track will be added to their library, and also they will automatically follow you. So when August 21st rolls around, which is like 3 weeks away, people have other stuff on their minds. They're not necessarily going to remember your release unless you're pestering them constantly. But this way, it will just quietly, innocuously be added to their library, and they can listen to it when August 21st rolls around. So yeah, that's the Hyperfollow feature. It's pretty useful. Okay, back to playing with granular synths.
So up until now, we've been playing with sound files that are super straightforward. They contain one note that has
a constant pitch. Where I think granular synthesis is especially interesting is when you put in a sample that maybe doesn't have a constant pitch. Often when I'm playing with sounds, I'll actually pull in loops, not just like samples, but actual like full loops that have like a bunch of different notes, just so I can see what fun and surprising things come out of it. So here I have scan turned on, which actually lets you walk through the file. So instead of just sticking to one chunk of the file, scan actually moves to the right as you hold down the key. Here's an example. So all three of those notes are actually contained in just one key press. If I go up, and it's kind of doing this funny time stretching thing because I've set the time to 5,000%. So it's playing through the file, but just so slowly. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna click capture just so I don't forget that. Let's add some percussion. What noise do we have? Do a white noise kit. I basically just want something that's like a metronome. Okay, so I ended up futzing with the percussion a lot longer than I expected to. Here's what I ended up with. Okay, all this time listening to this loop over and over again, I have like 3 melody ideas, so better get to those now. So what's cool about this is that I'm getting all these notes for free, all of this like texture and ambience that's coming out of this weird instrument that just consists of like some random loop I found on my hard drive. Essentially, like when I hit a note, like I get that cool high shimmery note, none of which I planned for, and I would never have composed that in a million years. Boy, I actually really like this track. I'm gonna record some B melodies before I forget them. See you all in a bit. Okay, so a couple hours have passed. I've now added some strings to the track, which sound like this. You can hear them in the background. And more importantly, I've added a B melody, which sounds like this. So yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this and you are inspired to seek out whatever granular synthesis options are available for your platform. If you do have Ableton Live Suite, I highly recommend you download this right now. It's like the most amazing thing ever. I believe FL Studio actually also has a granular synthesizer plugin built in. Steinberg has something called Pad Shop. Audio Damage has something called Quanta. Yeah, there are a bunch of different things on the market, but super, super powerful technique. I highly recommend experimenting with it. If you enjoyed this video, it'd be great if you'd hit like, and if you've not already done so, yeah, I would highly recommend subscribing. A lot more videos on the way. As I mentioned up top, this video is sponsored by DistroKid. If you're thinking of checking out DistroKid, it would be really great if you could use the promo link in the description to this video. It helps fund this channel and keeps me making videos. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, go make some music.